asked me to record the session tonight. Sharon actually recorded last week's session, so for those of you who weren't here, we would be able to, you can get a replay of last week if you weren't here. This week we are, okay, just to have a quick recap of what we did the first time. We went to go and just have an idea of what it is that we wanted to achieve in our lives, where we wanted to go. Last week we went and we looked at specific things, specific gifts that we have been given, and we tried to remember what our actual soul purpose is, because each of us actually did come here with a real purpose, and many, many times people know this purpose at the beginning of their lives, and then life happens and you forget about it. So today we're going to look at specifically what is holding us back from achieving our life purpose. Now, I just want to give you a little bit of an overview, and please pardon me if I'm repeating myself, but I kind of do that. But I want to just give you a little bit of an overview of your conscious mind and your subconscious. And I'm in a mirror and it's annoying me. Sorry, I need to move up. My stomach is too large for that mirror. So your brain is a supercomputer. I'm sure I have said this before. But as with computers, and if you follow artificial intelligence and the whole AI learning, computers remember things by repetition. So the more times you follow a path from A to B, the more times that path will be followed. And you might have A to B, A to C, C to E, blah, blah, blah. Your whole path could be going like this all the time, but there will be certain paths that are repeated, and those are the paths that will keep on coming up. If you put in a search on a search engine, the paths that you repeat will come up first. Things that you might have searched or seen at different times will appear, but they won't appear at the top of the list. That is exactly how your brain works, okay? So your brain is like Google. The more times you search a certain thing, it's like a Facebook algorithm too. The more times you search a certain thing, the more times that comes up. So the reason I'm telling you this is, last week I mentioned that everything that you have ever experienced, heard, seen, even in your peripheral vision, is recorded in your brain. You just need to know where to look. Some people's brains are better at finding this information than others. Some people's brains just put everything in a box, and then it's like soek voort, just like do this. But the more times you create a path from A to B, the more times the easier it's going to be to find that. So whatever you have ever experienced in your life is in your brain. Now, if you have had to go and search for a particular thing, like for instance, pick up your fork and put it in your mouth to eat. Your brain does that normally and naturally without even thinking about it, because you do it all the time. It's a pathway that has been repeated over and over and over again. You don't have to think about it. It doesn't get filtered by, unless you're in a very fancy restaurant, it doesn't get filtered by any external input. Okay, now, the less often you go from point A to point B or to point C or whichever point you're wanting to go to, the less often you access that information, the more filters are put on that particular thing, okay? Because it's not something that you do normally, like picking up your fork. So, if for instance, you now have to do public speaking. It's not something you do every day. It's not something your brain is used to and your mind is used to. Your brain is now going to come up with a million different filters to decide how you're going to react and how you're going to behave during that public speaking event. And all of these filters and so on happen because of things that have happened in your life, experiences that you've had, what people have said to you, what your parents have thought, what your parents have said. Okay. So thinking now on things that you don't do on a daily basis. More filters are going to be placed on those events based on your personal experience, based on your personal preferences, based on your societal norms and things that people around you say, based on your own values, and based on other people's opinions. Okay. So when you have a whole set of filters that your brain has to go into, it will always filter out the things that are uncomfortable and only come up with solutions that are comfortable to you. Things that work within your framework, things that make you feel okay with who you are. So if you had to put a thought into that framework and you had to go, I need to do X, Y, and Z, but that thing goes against your personal framework, your brain is not going to come up with a very good solution for you. Okay? It's going to come up with only the solutions that make you comfortable, whether that is a good solution or a bad solution. It's only going to come up with a comfortable solution based on your framework. Okay, so how do you get past this? Because these are the things that are going to be holding you back. Because you do not want to step out of your comfort zone. You do not want to be uncomfortable. You do not want people to not like you. You do not want people to laugh at you. You do not want to be ridiculed. Now, why am I telling you all of this? Because these are the things that are holding you back. Whether they are real, and most of the time they are not. Most of the time, it is your own imagination that is making your obstacles real. Most of the time, you could actually achieve everything you want to achieve, but your brain is not giving you the right solutions, because every time you think of a problem, your brain brings up a solution that is filtered through a multitude of filters that make you not uncomfortable. Okay. So what have we got to do to be able to remove these blocks? Because these are the things that are holding you back. A lot of the time, people don't realize where these blocks come from. Someone will say, I can't speak my truth. I can't get up and teach. I can't help anybody. And when you go back and you look at what was the actual block, where did that block happen? It was generally something really, really stupid. Like your grade 2 teacher said to you, if you don't keep your mouth shut, I am going to stick a tape over your mouth. And this actually, and the reason I'm using this is my oldest friend, Elizabeth. She was such a chatterbox in school. And our grade 2 teacher used to stick tape over her mouth every single day. And now, whenever Elizabeth has to say something, and I pointed it out to her the other day, she does this. When she wants to speak her truth, she does this. Why? It's a block from her grade 2 teacher who stuck a thing over her mouth because she spoke too much. Okay, so your block could be something as simple as, and I mean, the teacher wasn't a bad teacher. She was a lovely, lovely teacher, and Elizabeth did really speak too much. But the point is, she has carried that with her through her entire life, and it has become a huge block. Because when she's about to say something real, she does this. So I want you tonight to think about, and this the reason I'm having a little bit of a lecture-y thingamabob going here, is I just want to get into that part of your brain right now that you are going to think, what is my this? And it might not be speaking your truth. It might be something of not believing in yourself. And it might be something where your mom said, you shouldn't wear that, my dear, because your legs are too fat. You know, or something stupid that the person who said it didn't mean to scar you for life, but that particular thing has held you back from achieving what you meant to achieve, because you took it in a way that it was not meant, but that really, really resonated very deeply with the core of you, because it was your sole purpose. And it is hampering you from being able to live the life you so desire to live. So as I said, the reason I'm saying this is I want to spark your subconscious into finding on this journey that 1 or 2 or maybe 3 trigger points that are holding you back. Because no matter how successful you are and no matter how amazing you are, there is something holding you back from achieving more. And I'm not saying you've got to be first in class, because this is my problem. My dad, I used to get like in the 90s for stuff, and he would never be happy. He would always go, "You got 94, why didn't you get 100? So you know what, for me, I am just never good enough, ever. No matter what I do, I'm never good enough. And I'm sure for you, there will be something that is holding you back. Okay, so the important thing is to try and find that, because I'm not saying you have to make more money, but you can, and you absolutely can be more in touch and in tune with who you are, and more connected to the parts of you that are going to make you happy and are going to add to what you can contribute to the world. So we're going to start off, as we always do, with the breathing, and then we're going to go to the upper realm this time, because we're going to go and speak to our higher selves, or source. Speaking to source is always amazing, because whatever you ask of source, and please remember this, please don't go, "Please, I beg you." That's not how you do it. You do it in an authoritative way of this is who I'm here to be, and if I have all of this, I can be the best version of me. Okay, so you can go and speak to source, or you can find a guide, you can find an angel, you can find a loved one, someone who knew you really, really well and saw that part of your soul that is the sparkly, amazing, amazing light that you are and that you have to share with the world. So, without further ado, let's get down to our breathing. Again, we're going to do 5 rounds of, I'm going to try for 30 breaths, but I sometimes stop counting and then I go over. But don't worry, don't count, just follow. Oh yeah, thank you. My phone was being very disturbing.
Okay. Can you just see it? I don't have my glasses on. Do you see a do not disturb? There we go.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect.
And you know what the funny thing is? While I was talking about Elizabeth, she sent me a message. Okie dokes. Yeah, please, thank you. Okay, sorry for smelly feet in your face. And we're going to relax. I'm just going to, if everyone can just settle for a moment. We'll start in a few seconds. I think just settle for a minute. Right, and let's start with round 1. And breathe in. all out, and hold. And breathe in and hold. And let's start round 2. And breathe in. And all out, and hold. And breathe in and hold. And let's get ready for round 3. And breathe in. And all out, and hold. And breathe in and hold. And let's get ready for round 4. And all out. And hold. And breathe in and hold. And let's get ready for our last round. And And breathe in. And hold. And you can breathe normally. And you are floating on a cloud. And everything around you is so floaty. And so spacey. You feel like if you look down, you would have forever around you. You feel so deeply relaxed. Your mind is melting into your body. Your body is melting into the cloud that you are floating on. You do not have arms and legs and a body anymore. You have become one with this beautiful, soft cloud. You are swirling. Everything is swirling, and you are so deeply relaxed. You are so deeply happy, and you are so deeply at peace. You breathe in and you breathe out, and with every breath you take, you sink deeper and deeper into your cloud. You are so very relaxed. And with every breath you take, you realize that you are floating higher and higher and higher. Your cloud is rising up and up, and you are swirling in a very peaceful and relaxed pink swirl of happiness and peace and love and joy. And as we float higher and higher, you become one with the swirl of pink light that surrounds you. You become one with the universe. You become one with the stars and the sky and the clouds and the mist that surrounds you. And you are so relaxed and so at peace. And as we go higher and higher and higher, you become aware of the stars that are around you. And they are twinkling and beckoning you to follow them. One particular star is shining brighter than the rest, and you follow it. The longer you follow it, the more you realize it is taking you to a place you have been before, a place of unconditional love. All of a sudden, you become aware of a beautiful presence. You have met with your higher self, or with Source, or with a spirit or guide who really wants to help you and really wants you to be able to uncover the deepest and most beautiful part of yourself that you have been hiding from the world. This is the part of you that has been holding you back from achieving everything you were meant to achieve. It is not your fault that you have not been your full self. It is due to the fact that we live a human existence with human emotions, and therefore we are bound by the thoughts, the words, and the deeds of those we love. They do not intentionally wish to bind us. It just happens as a matter of course. But we are here to set ourselves free and to find that part of ourselves which we have forgotten, that bright spark, that piece of ourselves which will allow us to live our full purpose. Reach out to this light being in front of you. Take hold of their hand that they are offering you and feel the unconditional love flow through your fingers, through your palms, up through your arm, as you take hold of their hand. Reconnect. Ask this kind guide and spirit to help you to find the place in your life where you decided it was necessary to build a bridge, to build a barrier, to build a wall, or to deeply hide that part of you that is your gift to humanity. I want you to really deeply connect with this guide, your higher self, source, and ask them to take you back to a particularly painful place in your past. I want you to go back to a place of deep shame. I want you to feel, really feel shame. I want you to feel that terrible feeling that you loathe yourself, that you are ashamed of what you have done, ashamed of who you are, ashamed of what you said. I want you to feel that shame wash over you. I want you to now take a step up, not back, up. Lift yourself a foot or two above this dreadful feeling of shame. I want you to look at the situation, remember it. What were you doing? How old were you? Who was with you? What did you say? What did you do? Now I want you to consider, what was the trigger for that shame? Was it what you actually did? Or was it your perception around what happened in that moment? Was it what the person you were with, or the people you were with, or the group you were with said, or how they responded? Was it a look on someone's face? Was it that raised eyebrow from your mum? What caused you to feel the self-loathing and shame? And now I want you to rise another 2 feet above the situation. And I want you to see it from a bird's eye view. If you were in that particular position right now, as you are today, would you still feel that shame? Knowing who you are, knowing what life is, knowing what other people think does not matter, would you still feel the shame? If you were in that position today, how would you feel? How would you react? What would you say and do differently? I want you to go back down and stand next to your shamed and humiliated self. And I want you to put your arms around that very, very unhappy child or person or grown woman, doesn't matter. And I want you to feel empathy and love and forgiveness. And I want you to tell yourself, your shamed, humiliated self, that it's all right. That this may have been a defining moment in your life, but it's in the past, it's over, and it does not need to define the rest of your life. For this particular moment is a moment that has been holding you back from achieving and being the person you were meant to be. I want you to forgive yourself, not for doing the shameful act. No, not at all. We all do shameful acts. But for allowing yourself to carry this guilt from that time till now. I want you, in your mind's eye, to take a pen and a piece of paper and write the shame, the hurt, the anger. I want you to write your story on a piece of paper right now. And I want you to forgive yourself and write an apology at the end of your letter. Now, fold the letter up and put it in your pocket. And let's continue our journey. Take hold of the hand, the kind, loving, unconditional support of your guide. And let us continue our journey. I want you to go deep, deep, deep into the recesses of your mind. I want you to find a place where you feel guilt. The thing in your life that you feel most guilty about. The thing that has followed you like a demon and poisoned you. That guilt. The one event that made you feel that you were not worthy of anything good. That it was all your fault because you are guilty as hell and you do not deserve goodness and love respect. I want you to feel guilty. I want you to feel your worst. Now, rise up just a foot above. Look at the situation. What were you doing? Who were you talking to? Who did you wrong? Who did you harm? Is the person or the situation that you harmed there with you right now? Have a good look at them. How do they look? What is the emotion on their face? How does it make you feel? I want you to rise up another 2 feet. I want you to have a bird's eye view of the situation. Looking at it from this perspective, is it really what you thought it was? Could you have done anything different? If so, what could you have done differently? If you were in that situation today, how would you handle it? Now I want you to go back down. And I want you to embrace the person or the situation that you have wronged. And I want you to ask them for forgiveness. And I want you to tell them how you could have better handled the situation. And I want you to ask them to release you from these chains of guilt that you have been carrying around with you for so very long. For they are not serving you, and they are not serving the person that you have chained yourself to. I want you to see the chains dissipate in a beautiful light. See a radiant light around the person that you have wronged. Now I want you to go to yourself in that moment and put your arms around you and forgive yourself. For at the time, you acted in the only way you could have. Maybe it was wrong, but if you feel guilt and you've chained yourself to this particular event, you have true remorse. And the only thing holding you back from letting it go is you. You do not need to hold on to this any longer. It is not serving you. I want you to thank this situation for the great life lesson you have learned. For this lesson will keep you from repeating this act which will cause you such guilt and remorse. I want you to take a pen and a paper and write down your story of guilt. I want you to write down your remorse and how you could better handle the situation going forward. I want you to fold a piece of paper and put it in your pocket. For we are moving on. Take hold of the hand of your guide. And I want you to go to a place where you feel deep regret. Something that you missed, an opportunity you gave up, something you didn't do, a part of you that you left behind, a gift you ignored, something that you yearn for, something that makes you feel sad, so very sad. I want you to feel the deep, deep sadness of regret. Where are you? What are you doing? Who is with you? How old are you? What are you wearing? I want the sadness to seep into your bones so that you can understand why it has held you back. Only strong emotions are able to hold you back. Rise up a foot above the situation. I want you to think about if you were in that position right now, with everything you know, everything you have gathered through your life. Is this something you would now grab hold of? Or is it something you would still let go? Rise up another 2 feet and see the situation from a bird's eye view. Is this thing that you regret so deeply something you would take on today? How would your life have been different? Would you still have experienced everything that you have today? Would you still have the wonderful people in your life that you have now? Would you still be who you are if you had chosen a different path? I want you to go back down with the deep realization that if you had taken hold of this and taken this road, that you would not be who you are today. You would not have the people in your life you do today. You may not be here. You might be in a completely different place in the world. But you would not be on the path you were meant to be on. I want you to thank that situation for giving you hope and being a beacon in times that you needed it. But I want you to let it go. Because holding on to regret does not serve you. It just ties you to sadness. Sadness for things that may have been or could have been but never were. Sadness that holds you back from living in joy, living in the moment, and appreciating that which you have. I want you to reach out in gratitude for that person who made the decision to move in the direction you did. Thank yourself for making the choices you did, even if you believe they were wrong. Because if you'd made any other choice, you would be a different person. I want you to take a pen and a paper and write down your regret. Write down your story of longing and desire. Thank the longing and desire for serving you when it did. I want you to forgive yourself for making the choice you did at the time, even if it made you sad, even if you think that you could have done things differently or made a better choice. You didn't. You made this choice. And holding on to the sadness is holding you back. Fold your piece of paper and put it in your pocket. For we are continuing our journey. Take hold of the hand of your guide and walk. You are walking through a beautiful, beautiful meadow. You are entering a forest. There's a clearing in the forest. And you see a bonfire. There are many light beings around the bonfire, and they are all welcoming you because they see you in your purest, most beautiful form. They see you as a shining, perfect being walking towards the bonfire. They understand that you are a human being with human emotions, which limit us because they tie us to things we do not need to be tied to. I want you to approach the fire and reach into your pocket and take out your 3 letters. You are going to gift these letters to the fire, and the fire is going to consume them and cleanse you of all ties and negative emotions that hold you to these 3 very painful situations we have visited today. As you throw each one into the fire, you watch the fire curl around the paper and consume all your words, turning it into smoke and ash. The ash will be returned to the earth and will become one with the ground, with the soil. Your words will flow into the waters eventually as the rain washes over the soil. The harsh sadness, the regret, the shame, the pain has all curled up in smoke and is rising higher and higher and higher above as it slowly dissipates and becomes one with the air. It is blown away, never to return and harm you ever again. The power of the emotion is dissipated. I want you to feel what it feels like to have released these limiting aspects, these things that have been holding you back. Do you feel lighter? Do you feel more at peace? Do you feel happy? Look around. There are people, light beings, standing around the fire. They want to take your hand and dance with you in joy. As you dance around the fire in abandonment, you feel absolute joy. You feel purpose. You feel understanding for yourself. You feel gratitude for the lessons, for the pain. You feel acceptance. And you feel excitement. Because in having released these things that have been holding you back, you are making way, you are making space, you are making room for yourself to grow and blossom. I want you to ask your deepest subconscious to please make new pathways in your mind now that you have released these 3 things that have been holding you back, to form new bridges, new pathways, new connections that exclude the guilt, the shame, the regret, the sadness. I want you to ask your subconscious to stop filtering everything through guilt, through shame, through sadness, through regret. I want you to ask your subconscious to create new pathways of joy and happiness, of abundance, of fulfillment. Take your guide's hand and thank them. Thank yourself. Forgive yourself. It is time to come back. We are going to go back on our cloud. And we're going to swirl through the beautiful pink mist, through the stars, down, down. Come back with the lightness of being, with peace, with grace, with love and forgiveness and understanding. Come back, come back. As we swirl down and down and down. Your arms and legs are not part of the cloud anymore. You can feel them. Wriggle your toes. Wriggle your fingers. Wriggle your nose. Don't sneeze. Come back. Come back. And we are in the room again, lying on our yoga mats in this beautiful gallery without any lights on. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and you'll feel refreshed and at peace.